Well, my first years as a coach here in North Mississauga, there's a lot of more competitions, a lot of more teams, definitely a lot of more players to scout from, different competition, different leagues, different levels. So you have access to a bigger pool of players, but also as well, there's a lot of competition with the teams. So it's quite challenging, but it's also quite rewarding and easy to find those players in different teams or competitions that you never think about. So it's always quite an adjustment for the younger players. They're used to subjected to a different competition, a different strength, a different speed of play with the younger players. But playing against university players that are playing at a different speed and different strength is quite challenging for them. Mixing players, younger players with older players, that's the only way to do it. If you have just a young team, then obviously they're gonna struggle from the beginning. They have no players to look up for and on the field, or to learn some new things. So it's a good way to mix players. My coaching philosophy is I want to play the game in the best way that I can. I'm from the Spanish school, so a lot of quick combinations, quick passing, possession oriented, have the ball as much as we can, and play the game in a beautiful way.
At the League One level, it's totally different coming from our youth system. Obviously, we're looking at players that can move the ball quicker because they're giving out a lot of age difference, and the physicality of the game is a little bit fast-paced. So I'm looking at players that can move the ball quickly, players that can recover, both on the defensive side of things. My coaching philosophy, first and foremost, what I look for as a coach is kids that are dedicated to the game, kids that want to play. And once we have those kids, once we've attracted kids that want to play the game, my coaching philosophy is, the DNA is trying to work hard for every minute of the game. We have a pyramid where we are trying to use predominantly our youth system players. So it has worked well for me, and it's worked well for the players as well.
We have a wide variety of ambitions that players want. There's players that have ambitions to go to the CPL. There's players that have ambitions to play in the NCAA at the Canadian university level. So we kind of tailor our program to give them as much exposure to all sorts of different competition and levels. My coaching philosophy, what I look for in players, for me, it's all about profile. They have to have the right profile, which includes mentality, which includes quality, which includes how coachable they are as players.
Soccer has allowed me to coach. I've coached in Thailand, I've coached in Africa, I've coached in Asia and Kuwait in the Middle East. And I've come here, I have gone through my levels. I have my UEFA B level that I got last year. So I continue to grow as a coach.
I started off coaching at a young age, at 19 years old, and I was very fortunate that the Ottawa Fury gave me an opportunity to step inside their organization to coach. And from 2011 to the end of 2016, I was with the Ottawa Fury in many youth levels, and even fortunate enough to do a lot of work with the first team. Whether just being an apprentice coach shadowing, or I was even fortunate enough to work on an interim basis with head coach Paul Dalglish and Julian de Guzman doing video analysis.
Mahira actually is a very, very special player for us. We weren't able to have Mahira for our maybe beginning of our first 5 games because of the international transfer, and then finally when we were able to sign Mahira, you can see the difference in everybody's play. Was it through training? Was it in games? She just brings that different level, different experience.
I came as just to visit a friend, and we decided to have an extension in my immigration papers, and thought instead of sitting out the summer and not doing anything, to join a team. And we were lucky to find Oakville Blue Devils, and it's been going great so far. I started off playing street soccer with the boys. There was a little bit pressure from my family not to do so because it wasn't socially acceptable as a female to be out playing with boys soccer. And that's how it started off, and I fell in love with the sport, and I went from there. So I played with a variety of teams, clubs like they're called مصر المقصة, سحا والعبور, حلوان العام, and Ames. And I was also part of the Egyptian national team, the first team. And when I was younger, I was the captain of the under-18 team. The major difference is that Here I find that girls have a much better endurance than back home. But back home, they're a lot more skilled with the ball, footwork, and street soccer.
Biggest improvement is we are able to score a lot more goals with her up top, of course. There's been a lot of pressure off our back line because most teams that we play against understand that you cannot give her the time as you would for another striker, because in one dribble she can punish you. So she's been huge for this team. It's taken a lot of pressure off our midfielders, a lot of pressure off our back line. It's just a special player.
I learned a lot of things. There's, first of all, great team chemistry. The girls, we've become like a family. The coaches are a part of us as well, very supportive. My endurance has improved a lot. I found that the team has become more of a family, and we're very supportive of each other, even in practices and in games as well.